Now, despite urging Republicans to support the bill, House Speaker John Boehner is calling it a loss for the party. Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who mounted that 21-hour speech against the president's health care reform law, called it a terrible deal for the American people. Just 2 weeks ago, our local congressmen had some different opinions of how this all would shake out. Our Brandon Lewis joins us live in studio now. Brandon, what are they saying tonight about how things are standing?
Well, Dory, just a few minutes ago, we got off the phone with Congressman Paul Tonko. He tells us there were no winners in this, even as those furloughed workers will get back on the job. Before the vote, Congressman Chris Gibson said this was all a big compromise, despite Republicans only getting a minor change to the Affordable Care Act. Tonight, we also caught up with those impacted by the shutdown, including the Honor Flight group, heading down to the still closed memorials this weekend.
It was outstanding. I can't explain and describe to you the love I saw in these people's eyes and the way they took care of us. It was outstanding. So I appreciate that. But to hear the war memorials being closed upsets me no end.
That was veteran Dom Scavia recalling his experience on the Honor Flight to visit the World War II Memorial in Washington as the shutdown entered its first week. 12 days later.
Are they all going to come at the same time so we can greet them like we normally?
The committee is planning to take 28 other veterans to D.C. this weekend, unsure if the memorials will be open with the shutdown nearing an end.
If things are corrected, we're going to keep the tone of the trip upbeat, and on the trip we're going to make like it never happened. But I personally am kind of scarred by what went down and how all the vets were treated.
Local leaders say they never wanted it to get to this point and are pleased a deal is on the table.
What really disappoints me at this point is the fact that, it only took several days of negotiations for us to reach this agreement. And yet for months, the President of the United States and the Senate Majority Leader had said they would not negotiate.
I would hope that there are lessons learned here, that you cannot kick the can down the road and do these measures in an intermittent sort of way that does not provide certainty for working families and small businesses.
The president says the government won't fully reopen overnight, but the Honor Flight hopes it'll happen by Saturday, in time for the veterans to experience their memorial as it was meant to happen.
I personally am embarrassed that, for example, the barricades went up, and it really would be nice if they're gone by the time we get there. But it did happen, and that was wrong.
And Tonko tells us he expects it will take a day for things to get back to normal, so those memorials should be reopened by Saturday when the vets get there. Both Tonko and Gibson are scheduled to see the veterans off. The group says it's a non-political event, but the congressman may discuss the shutdown with the vets if those national parks and memorials do still end up being closed. Live in the studio, Brandon Lewis, CBS 6 News.